Emma and I met 7 years ago at a tech conference in Austin. She was a marketing director with fierce ambition and a laugh that lit up the room. I was a financial analyst presenting on investment strategies. We connected during a coffee break and talked for 3 hours straight, missing our afternoon sessions. We fell fast and hard, one of those relationships where everything just clicked. 6 months later, we were engaged at the same conference center where we'd met. A year after that, married in a small ceremony with 50 of our closest friends and family. 2 years into our marriage, we had the twins, Olivia and Sophia, identical girls with Emma's striking blue eyes and my dark hair. Life was busy but beautiful. I worked long hours crunching numbers. Emma handled marketing campaigns for Fortune 500 companies from her home office. We had the suburban house with the white picket fence, the reliable minivan, the weekend barbecues with neighbors. Looking back, the signs were everywhere. I just didn't want to see them because seeing them would mean confronting a reality I wasn't ready to face. There were the business trips that increased from once a quarter to twice a month. Emma would pack her designer suitcase and disappear for 3 or 4 days at a time to cities like Hartford, Boston, and New York. The password changes on all her devices: phone, laptop, tablet. Things that used to be accessible suddenly locked behind codes she'd change weekly. The new clothes she'd hide in the back of her closet, still with tags attached. Designer labels I knew we couldn't afford on our combined income. When I asked about them, she'd say they were gifts from clients or purchased on sale. Then there was the money. I handled our finances, and over 6 months I'd noticed withdrawals totaling nearly $30,000 from our savings account. I arrived at the coffee shop 15 minutes early, my anxiety making it impossible to wait at home. I ordered a black coffee I didn't drink and sat by the window, watching every car that pulled into the parking lot. When Sarah arrived, I barely recognized her. This wasn't the confident, polished woman I'd known for 6 years. Her eyes were red and swollen, makeup hastily applied over obvious tear tracks. She wore yoga pants and an oversized sweater, completely unlike her usual professional attire. She looked like someone who hadn't slept in days. She spotted me through the window and hesitated before coming inside. For a moment, I thought she might leave, but she took a deep breath and walked in, ordering nothing, just sliding into the booth across from me. We sat in heavy silence for what felt like hours but was probably 30 seconds. "Emma isn't who you think she is," Sarah began, her words measured and careful. "Her legal name isn't even Emma Johnson anymore. 3 years ago, shortly after the twins were born, she went to court and legally changed it back to her maiden name, Emma Catherine Price. She never told you. She's been using that name for everything except your joint accounts." My mind struggled to process this. "That's impossible. We file taxes together every year," I would have seen. "She files separately now, Jake. Has been for 2 years. Check your records carefully. She's been filing as married, filing separately, and forging your signature on the consent forms." Sarah's voice was steady but filled with sadness. "That's just the beginning of what I need to show you. Do you remember when Emma's adoptive parents died in that car accident 4 years ago?" Sarah asked gently. "She told you the inheritance was about $50,000, right? Enough to pay off some debt and put some in savings." I nodded numbly. That money had helped us buy our house. "Jake, that inheritance was $850,000. Her adoptive father was a successful patent attorney. Her mother came from old Charleston money. Emma received nearly $1 million and she told you it was $50,000. The betrayal hit me like a physical blow. Sarah showed me the estate documents, probate records, bank transfers. It was all there in black and white. $850,000 transferred to Emma Catherine Price. "Do you remember when Emma's adoptive parents died in that car accident 4 years ago?" Sarah asked gently. "She told you the inheritance was about $50,000, right? Enough to pay off some debt and put some in savings." I nodded numbly. That money had helped us buy our house. "Jake, that inheritance was $850,000. Her adoptive father was a successful patent attorney. Her mother came from old Charleston money. Emma received nearly $1 million and she told you it was $50,000. The betrayal hit me like a physical blow. Sarah showed me the estate documents, probate records, bank transfers. It was all there in black and white. $850,000 transferred to Emma Catherine Price. "Jake, I need you to look at these photos." They're going to be hard to see, but you need to understand the full picture of what Emma's been hiding. Sarah swiped through her phone gallery and each image felt like a betrayal magnified. Emma at upscale restaurants with white tablecloths and wine lists I couldn't afford. Emma at charity galas in designer gowns I'd never seen, surrounded by people in tuxedos and diamonds. Emma at what looked like country club events, tennis racket in hand, laughing with women in pearls. But the worst photo was the last one. It looked like a professional family portrait, the kind wealthy families have done annually. Emma stood in an elegant living room with crown molding and original artwork, flanked by an older couple in their early 60s. The woman wore pearls and a cashmere sweater. The man wore a sport coat with an ascot. Behind them stood two younger people, a man and woman in their late 20s, both bearing a striking resemblance to Emma. Who are they? My voice came out as barely a whisper. Emma was adopted as an infant, Sarah explained, watching my face carefully as she delivered each devastating detail. She always knew she was adopted, her adoptive parents never hid it, but she never showed interest in finding her birth family, or so we all thought. She swiped to another photo, Emma standing in front of a massive colonial-style mansion with white columns and perfectly manicured grounds. 3 years ago, Emma did one of those DNA ancestry tests. You know, the kind everyone does for fun. Except for her, it wasn't fun. She matched with a first cousin who connected her to her birth mother, Catherine Price Ashford, old money Connecticut family, the kind that's been wealthy for generations. Real estate, investments, political connections. Why are you telling me all of this now? I asked Sarah, my voice hollow. Why today specifically? Sarah's eyes filled with fresh tears. Because yesterday, Emma called me. We met for lunch at that French place downtown, you know, the one she always said was too expensive for a casual meal. She seemed different, lighter, almost relieved, and then she told me. My stomach clenched. Told you what? She's filing for divorce, Jake. Her birth family connected her with one of the best family law attorneys in the state, someone who specializes in high-asset divorces and custody cases. The papers are already drawn up. She was planning to serve you next Friday when you'd have no time to prepare. Her lawyer's strategy is to paint you as the emotionally unavailable, work-obsessed husband, while she's the devoted mother who sacrificed her career to raise the twins. Her family has already secured her a position in their company with a 6-figure salary and benefits. They're going to argue she can provide better stability. I drove home operating purely on autopilot, my mind unable to process the magnitude of what Sarah had revealed. Emma's car was in the driveway, her white SUV with the stick-figure family stickers she'd insisted on adding last year. Through our living room window, I could see her playing with Olivia and Sophia, all three of them building something with blocks, laughing together. The perfect picture of devoted motherhood. I walked in carrying Sarah's evidence folder like it weighed 1,000 pounds. Jake, you're home early from work. Emma stopped mid-sentence when she saw my face. Her smile froze, then crumbled as she noticed the folder in my hand. The color drained from her cheeks, replaced by a pale gray that matched the truth about to come out. Girls, go watch your show in the playroom, I said, keeping my voice steady for their sake. They scampered off, oblivious. We need to talk, I said quietly. And this time, Emma Catherine Price, you're going to tell me the whole truth. Emma didn't deny anything. She just sat there across from me at our kitchen table and cried. The divorce took 9 months, longer than expected because Emma initially fought for primary custody, confident her family's lawyers would prevail. But deception documented over years, hidden medical decisions affecting our children, and financial fraud couldn't be overcome even by expensive attorneys. We were awarded equal 50-50 custody. The court mandated family therapy for all of us, including Emma. Emma eventually moved to Connecticut to be near her birth family. The twins spend alternating weeks with each of us. It's not the life I imagined when I stood at that altar 7 years ago, but it's built on truth instead of lies. That counts for something. Sarah lost her best friend that day. Emma hasn't spoken to her since I confronted her with the evidence. I couldn't watch her destroy you, Sarah told me months later over coffee at the same shop where she'd first revealed everything. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is tell the truth, even when it costs you everything you hold dear, even when it means losing someone you love. She was absolutely right, though it took me time to understand the depth of her sacrifice.